I know, boys. Yeah! Good on you, Thomas Burgess! Good on you, Tommy! South Sydney! Yes! Yes! Go! Yes! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! Go! Go! Yes! 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 Go! Yeah! Yeah! Good on you, Joy! Let's go, boys! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! Go! Go! Yes! Yes! Good afternoon or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, whenever you're watching this video. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Of course, my name is Cody, and I hope you guys are doing very well in the off-season. The 2024 Grand Final ended roughly 2 weeks ago, or going into 3 weeks later on this week, and well, we're in the off-season now, and well, we've got the Pacific Championship and the Pacific Bowl to watch at the moment, but after that, there'll be no more rugby league to watch until pretty much the NRL draw comes out, which will determine this video. Today's video, which I started this concept last year on the channel, and other content creators have done this as well. Today, I'm here to give you, if I was in charge of the NRL draw, I'm giving you my 2025 NRL Magic Round Draw, if I was in charge. Now, I did this concept last year, and I think it was very successful, so give it a second go, and I think it will probably be better than what I'd picked for last year. Obviously, none of the games I picked for last year's Magic Round didn't make it into 2024, obviously, but it's always fun to create these type of things, and while we wait for the actual draw to come out, which will be coming out in about around 3 weeks or so in the middle of November, might as well just be the best time to do a video of it. Now, before we get into it, this will be my opinion. This will be my opinion on who I think who I've selected as to be the very best of the best. Now, obviously, there will be like a snooze fest or two in there, but you always got to have those games, and this is who I think who I determine will definitely be the best for each time slot, and I will follow the same format as it was for this year. So I'll start off with Friday, 6 p.m, and we finish off with Sunday, 6:25 p.m. But before we get into the video, guys, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Clicking that subscribe button will definitely help us out here on the channel, and gives me more confidence to put more content into the channel. But if you guys are new around here, please subscribe to the channel. But anyways, guys, with that out of the way, we'll get into the video. But first, if I don't select your team playing in a certain time slot, so be it. This is just my opinion. Comment down below what your Magic Round Draw would look like as well. It'll be really intriguing to see the viewers' choice for their Magic Round Draw as well, and comment what you guys think of my draw. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's get into the 2025 NRL Magic Round Draw if I was in charge. And the first game, we kick off on a Friday, 6 p.m. You always want a good game to start off strong. Obviously, the last few years we've had an okay game to start off in the opening game of Magic Round. Obviously, there will be 2 Friday games only, and then the rest are 3 Saturday and 3 Sunday games. And I think this will definitely be a strong start. These two teams had a great game between each other in Penrith. Spoiler, down this year. Of course, I'm going with the Penrith Panthers, the back-to-back 4-peat premiers against the Dolphins. I reckon this is going to be a great game to open up Magic Round 2025. Now, obviously, their game earlier this year was great. Dolphins, it was during Origin period. Well, I think it was just during Origin period. Dolphins were in that game good, and Penrith just slightly turned around with Nathan Cleary returning for that. You'll have the battle of the best of the best. Now, obviously, we don't know what the situation with Dolphins they will be like next year, as Wayne Bennett has left the club. He's come back to join the Rabbitohs, and the assistant coach there at the Dolphins, I forgot his name, will take over as the Dolphins head coach. So it'll be interesting to see how Dolphins will go. But I reckon this will definitely be a strong start to open up Magic Round. So I've gone with a 6 p.m. game, Panthers versus Dolphins. And then we go into the main event, the second game of the Friday games. Now, obviously, we had Broncos versus Manly, or the other way round, for the last few years. Now, luckily, that's finally over. I think that was bullshit. They played five times, and Manly was the home team for those times as well, which was a bit redundant, given that one of their home games from Sydney to put for Magic Round. If it was against any other team, it wouldn't fucking matter, but it was ridiculous how it was. But thankfully, it is over and done with. And the next game I have gone with, I reckon this game's going to be a blockbuster. I'm not sure where they finished this year. Didn't really was a bit redundant, but I've gone with the Cronulla Sharks taking on the Brisbane Broncos for the 8 p.m. Friday game. Now, I think Broncos will definitely get the 8 p.m. game regardless, because they get majority of the Friday 8 p.m. games of the year. And I think going against an opponent like the Sharks would definitely be a great team to play against. So, I mean, Sharks next year are going to be strong, and Brisbane are looking to do better under the new coach of Madge, Michael Maguire, after Kevin Walters got the sack from Brisbane only a few weeks ago now, funny enough, which a bit sad, but I knew it was going to happen eventually. But this will definitely be a blockbuster game and worthy of a free-to-air fixture. So, Sharks versus Broncos, Friday, 8 p.m. Alright, now we move on to day 2 of Magic Round, where we have 3 games, 3 p.m, 5:30 and 7:45. It's usually 7:35, but obviously teams playing up with games playing one after the other. They've just increased it in case if it goes to Golden Point, I guess. But it's usually Magic Round day 2 Saturday, or at least since 2021, because 2019 was across 4 days, and since 21 it's been 3 days, and to this year as well. Usually Saturday usually gets the better games of the 3 days, and usually getting a Saturday slot is pretty much the best thing to get. Doesn't matter what time you start. I reckon whichever team's playing on Saturday, I reckon they're going to be playing the better games anyway. But obviously, there's always going to be a snooze fest thrown in there somewhere, and I think this game right here will definitely be a snooze fest. I definitely think this game would fit for a 6.25, but I've gone with something a bit different. This will definitely be a snooze fest if these two are in the bottom 4 at the time next year. But for Saturday 3 p.m, I've got the few players who have left from Penrith to the West Tigers. So I've gone the West Tigers going against the Newcastle Knights for 3 p.m. Now, obviously, the Tigers have gotten 3 wooden spoons in a row now, and obviously they're looking to improve. I thought they did improve a bit better this year with more wins, but not much, and they still got the spoon. And hopefully, with Luai and Taruva and a few other players come to the club, hopefully they can definitely change it around. But it's not going to be enough though. We'll have to see. And as for the Knights, well, Knights are in a bit of a pickle at the moment, and I mean that one of the Saifidi brothers just gone to the Dolphins, and it's rumoured that they're looking to release a few more players, including Hastings. There was a rumour linked to the Rabbits, but that's been called off now. So, I mean, if I didn't want Hastings anyway, he's a fucking idiot. He can go. I think he could probably go back to the Super League if I'm being honest. But yes, so Tigers versus Knights, definitely not a good game to watch, but we've got to throw a snooze fest in there somewhere. So Saturday 3 p.m, I've gone with the Tigers versus Knights, and everyone will probably still be walking to the stadium by the time this game kicks off, which I wouldn't blame them. But I've gone with what I can choose. So Tigers versus Knights for the 3 o'clock fixture. Alright, now we move on to Saturday 5:30. These next two, last remaining three, except for the last 6:25 game, were very, very hard to pick who I think was going to go for the certain time slots, but I reckon some of them wouldn't fit because some teams don't usually play like on 9 and stuff like very often, not a lot compared to other teams, but it was really hard to choose a 5:30 slot and then 7:45, but Saturday 5:30 for these next two teams, they are looking to do a lot more better. A few young players coming through, one of them, and under a new coach, or under a returning coach, they are looking to get better and make the 8. Of course, 5:30 game, and I think this would definitely be a contender for a game of the round, I reckon. I'm going for 5:30. I've gone the Canberra Raiders against my team, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, I was going to put this game as the 7:45 game, but I wouldn't think it wouldn't work under free to air. But I've gone with 5:30 instead because I reckon you'll get great viewership. Yeah, great viewership with this game. And these two teams usually play around this time slot. Most times they play anyway. I mean, obviously with the exception of when I went to Canberra this year, that was a different story. But no, these two teams are looking to do a lot more better in 2025. Raiders getting so close to the finals this year, and Rabbitohs under Wayne Bennett. And as a Rabbitohs supporter myself, I'm looking forward to see how we can do better in 2025. Because I mean, after this year was a shit show for the Rabbitohs, finishing second last. But no, this will definitely be a great game to watch as the middle game. Even hell, if you want to put it as the main event for Saturday, go ahead. But I reckon the next game will definitely be bigger than Raiders versus Rabbitohs. But Saturday 5:30, and I would definitely agree with this. Raiders versus Rabbitohs for 5:30 for day 2. Alright, now we move on to day 2, the final game to wrap up of day 2, Saturday Magic Round. Now these two teams, they both finished in the top 8 this year, and while obviously they could have done better in the finals, especially the grand final, so there's a spoiler for that. I reckon these two teams have definitely earned and a well-deserved free-to-air game against each other. Of course, I'm going with the minor premiers, the Melbourne Storm, going against the North Queensland Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys played this time slot this year against my boys, the Rabbitohs. They won 28-22. It was a good game to watch, but a bit lackluster throughout some periods of the games with the two sin bin. One of the sin bins, one of them on Dearden was a bit ridiculous, and the other one down to Pua. I think that was the right call for that one. But no, Storm and Cowboys, usually when these two play, with the exception of I think it was the second last round they played, and Melbourne had majority of their players out. But Cowboys managed to beat them, but it was still a high scoring game. They still conceded 30 points, I think something around there. But when these two are full strength and going into next year, I reckon these two teams are definitely going to bang a year next year. Doesn't matter who with Melbourne losing players, they're still going to be there. And Cowboys, obviously, they've lost Valentine Holmes and Kyle Felt, but I reckon they'll still pick up the pace, and their great young talents will definitely take their place and drive the team into better greatness in 2025. So I've gone Storm versus Cowboys to wrap up day 2 of Magic Round, and a well-deserved fixture for a free-to-air on Channel 9. So Storm versus Cowboys for 7:45. Alright, now we move on to day 3. We move into our final 3 games, 150, 405 and 625 if they will remain the same time slots. Now usually the Sunday fixtures usually wind down, especially after the 4 o'clock fixture, because you always want a big game at 4 o'clock. And when you usually start off and end day 3 for Magic Round, it's usually a okay game to mediocre, but I reckon for these games I selected, I reckon these are going to be great fixtures to finish off Magic Round 2025, and we're going to say, but we don't want Magic Round to end. It went too quick, but sadly it's got to come to an end. But as for the first game, for 150 to open up the final day and the 6th game overall, for 150, this team hasn't played any other team in Magic Round except the Broncos. So for 150, and with the coach in their history between each other, I reckon I'm gone with the Gold Coast Titans versus the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles for 150 kickoff or 155. It's one of them time slots. Now, obviously, with Des Hasler at the forum at Titans, former Manly coach, and Anthony Seibold as the current Manly coach. And these two had a good game to start off with, a high-scoring game at Seabus early in, and then their other clash, well, Gold Coast led 8-0 and then they switched off. But I reckon, as this is at Magic Round, I reckon these two are going to put on a great performance. Titans usually open up a day or finish off as the last game for each day, but against Manly, with great players as Cherry Evans versus Foran, if he's still playing by then, and Jane Campbell at 5'8", and Luke Brooks as well. I reckon this is going to be a great game. Turbo versus Keanu Kinney, the former young player against the newest young fullback, which that's a great clash. Or if you throw Brimson in there as well, whatever. But I reckon this is going to be a great game to open up day 3, in my opinion. So Titans versus Manly to open up day 3. Alright, now we move on to the second game. The penultimate game to finish off Magic Round 2025. Now, these two teams made a huge impact this year. One of them returning to the top 8 for the first time in almost a decade. And although they went out in the first week of the finals, they still had a great year, and their fan base is getting better and better. Of course, for the 4 o'clock game, and I think this one's a well-deserved one, even though I despise this team I despise both of the teams, but one more than the other, obviously. For 4 o'clock or 4:05, I've gone with the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs against the Sydney Roosters for the 4 o'clock game. So I think these two have already played for Magic Round before, but these two have put on great games between each other in the last few years, especially their first game between each other this year. Bulldogs shockingly upset them, and then Roosters returned the favour on the coast up here when they played against each other. But these two teams have put on great performances throughout 2024, and putting my bias aside for both of them, I reckon these two will definitely be a great matchup for the 4 o'clock game to finish off the free-to-air games, and I think it's well deserved. So Bulldogs versus Roosters, will be a great game, no doubt. And yeah, so Bulldogs versus Roosters have as the main game on Sunday. Let's do it, eh? So Bulldogs versus Roosters, 4 o'clock. And then we got the last game to finish off Magic Round 2025. It'd be very sad to see Magic Round finish. And obviously, usually you usually don't have a good game, but I reckon these two teams will definitely have an okay game, to say the least, to finish off Magic Round. For the last game at 6:25, there's 3 teams I haven't mentioned, and I'll mention the team with the bye after this one. For 6:25, I've gone. This team usually plays an afternoon game, but I think I'll change it a bit different this time. I've gone with the New Zealand Warriors against the St George Illawarra Dragons, playing at 6:25. I know, obviously, you got the time for the New Zealand game starting at like 8:25 over in New Zealand, but it doesn't really matter. It's just where I wanted to place it. If you don't like it, then stuff it. But I reckon this will definitely be a great game to finish off Magic Round. Now, if Dragons did not play 2024 Magic Round, as they had the bye this year, and the year before it was the Newcastle Knights. So they will definitely be having a game for Magic Round, and I think playing against the Warriors, I think this will definitely be a good game. It'll and a okay game to finish off day 3, and overall finish off an excellent Magic Round for 2025. Will 2025 Magic Round be better than 2024? 100%. But we will find out when the draw comes out in November, and we get everything packed and ready for May, because Magic Round 2025 will be in May. Round 10 or round 11 will be one of those rounds. If it's the same format as this year, I think it will be round 11 next year. And of course, yours truly will be going to Magic Round 2025. This will be my 3rd time going up there. I went up there in 23 and last year run it, and then I went up there this year for the 2nd time. I had a more fun year in 2024 than last year. Would I say the games were better this year? I would agree, yes, despite us losing, and at the time we were the worst team, and pretty much were this year. But overall, 2024 Magic Round was better than 23. And as for the bye, and the last team I haven't mentioned yet, I think I did mention it at the start of the video, I reckon the Parramatta Eels will get the bye for 2025 Magic Round. Now, it's not just because there weren't a lot of fans there. There were heaps of Parramatta fans there, but one team's got to be selected for the bye, as we've only got 17 teams, and until we get the 18th team, one team has to suffer each year. Didn't go with the Knights, didn't go with the Dragons. They've already done it. They've missed out on Magic Round already, and I can't give it to any of the Queensland teams, because obviously it's in Queensland and you want all Queensland teams to be there. Storm would get easily going to be there. Warriors, probably they could get the bye, but I don't think so. And as for the Raiders, they'll definitely be there. And across the 9 Sydney clubs across Sydney, obviously one of them will be affected. Funny enough, St George are kind of Sydney and not, but obviously they're still counted as a Sydney team in my book, and they got the bye this year, but next year they won't. So I'll go with Parramatta for the bye, because it's just someone just has to have the bye, and also they had the worst game for Magic Round this year. They had the 4 o'clock game against the Storm. They were flogged 64-16, I think the score was, or something close to it. Well, no, it's 48-16. Sorry. No, these two have played for Magic Round beforehand, but I was thinking of the other score. But yeah, they lost 48-16. And they had the worst result there. So for that reason, other reasons, well, I think Parramatta will get the bye for Magic Round next year. But I could be wrong. But anyways, guys, this will pretty much wrap up the video. Before I wrap it up, I'm just gonna go through the games again, in case if you didn't miss out. So for Friday 6 PM, Panthers versus Dolphins. 8 PM, Sharks versus Broncos. Saturday 3 PM, Tigers versus Knights. 5:30, Raiders versus Rabbitohs. 7:45, Storm versus Cowboys. And for Sunday, day 3, Titans versus Sea Eagles. 4 o'clock, Bulldogs versus Roosters. And the last game to wrap it up, Warrior at 6:25, the Warriors versus the Dragons. And of course, I've chosen the Parramatta Eels to get the bye. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below what you think of my draw, and comment down your draw as well. It will be really interesting to see who you think should play each other for Magic Round, and who should get the bye for 2025 for Magic Round. But anyways, guys, this is going to wrap up the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out whenever I go live or a video gets posted on YouTube. Anyways, guys, I'm getting out of here. I will be out with another video within the next few days, and I think you guys will enjoy that one as well. There'll be another video that I did last year, and it was well praised for what how that video went as well. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. See you all in the next one.